For this assignment, I revised a first grade lesson plan, and it's about comparing object lengths. So the purpose of this lesson is for students to be able to identify different objects and to put them in order based on their length. The very first revision that I made to this lesson plan is to incorporate vocabulary words that are familiar to students that are ELL learners in their own language. So I thought it was very important to introduce the words short, shorter, shortest, long, longer, and longest in their respective languages because learning a new concept is challenging enough, but when you have to learn a new vocabulary as well, it always helps to have an idea of what it means in your native language. In this process, I learned that Spanish, Hindi, and Bengali don't have the conjugations of EST, which is not a very common conjugation in other languages. Therefore, it's necessary for us as teachers to consider that we are introducing an entirely new conjugation to students, and we can make it easier for them to understand by representing the words in their own language. So in Spanish, short would be corta, and in Hindi it would be chota, in Bengali choto, and in Spanish, long would be larha, Hindi would be bada, and Bengali would be boro. It really helps that I speak Hindi and Bengali in my classroom, and therefore I think it's easier to support the ELL learners if they are of that demographic. Moving on, I would like to go into the second revision that I made, which is, let's get to it, okay, which is the extension sheet attached below. So I'm going to scroll to that now so you can take a look at it. And this extension sheet really is for students to work both ways as a challenge, to be able to order things from shortest to longest and vice versa from longest to shortest. This really explains if they have a strong conceptual understanding of the lesson, but also gives something for students to do if they finish early or if they need enrichment. Now the next revision that I made to this lesson plan is to include sentence structures for students that are English language learners. A lot of times I've noticed in my classroom that students know the answers, but they don't necessarily know how to express themselves or how to bring forward their answers, explain themselves. Therefore, I added some specific sentence frames, which include the shortest line is this line because, or the longest line is this line because, or this color line is no longer than this color line, and this color line is shorter than this color line. Based on these sentence frames, students will be better able to express their answers, and it's not just directed towards ELL learners, but the class as a whole again. And I feel a lot of these revisions do benefit the class entirely, such as, moving on to our next revision, next and last, which is the YouTube video which I added. The YouTube video allows for students to have a visual representation and really understand through visual references and aids. This is especially beneficial for students who speak another language or who speak a primary language which is different from English at home, and also for students who are predominantly visual learners. Thank you for listening.